The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented by WynnBet. Bet $100 at WynnBet and get $100 free bet. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today. We're also brought to you by the SGPN merch store. Use code NFCBEAST to get 15% off, and it is active until the Eagles or the Giants, probably going to be the Eagles, lose their next game. Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of the NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. You know, you see me, you hear me. We're live right now. If you're not catching us on YouTube, on Twitter, we are live right now. If you're listening to this in a playback on podcast form, guess what? We went live. You can catch us live next time. Other than that, it's the voice, it's the guy. You know who I am. Really real, villain real. Terrell Furman Jr. at your service. And I got my guy, Scott Reichel. Scott, what's going on?
Nothing much. I've had a pretty interesting start to the NBA season. I believe I'm definitely up. The only problem is I haven't hit a lock yet. I've just hit a bunch of dogs, but I've yet to hit a lock. I hit the Tatum double-double on the opening night at like plus 255. I know the last episode on Friday with Munaf, I hit Trae Young double-double at plus 195. So I'm hitting a decent amount of plus money dogs. The issue is my locks for some reason just haven't been working out. And hopefully that ends today. So let's keep it rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of giving back to WNBA where it was just like the beginning of the season. We couldn't hit a lock to save our life.
That was for a week and a half. We were just only hitting dogs and no locks.
Yeah, just dogs.
We were up anyway. Yeah,
yeah. So, I mean, hey, you're up, you're up. It doesn't matter how you get it. You're up, you're up. So I'm with it. I got my DK5 shirt on. Shout out to South Carolina for getting the dub versus Texas A&M at home, plus 130. Let's go. Gave out a 27-1 parlay on college football. And Sunday, the Giants and the Jets get another win. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Look at us. Look at us. Who would have thought?
Not me.
Yeah, not me. Yeah. Not me, because we're here. The Giants and the Jets are on a crash course for the Super Bowl. And I mean, I'm just talking, trying to let people get a chance to get in here while we get ready to get this started. But it's a great time to be a fan of, I wouldn't say all New York sports, but football, we're holding down. Football's holding it down.
Yeah, one of my teams died yesterday. So that was a separate story. But yeah, it is what it is. The Astros are pretty good at baseball, and I'm sure Munaf was celebrating pretty hard last night. That's why he's not here.
Yeah, he's definitely folded over, trying to hurl up all the alcohol or the turn up that he had the night before. We're going to hold it down on a Monday. Me and Scott, look, we've got a pretty solid straight. Before we get to that, got to talk to you about WynnBet, and make sure you join WynnBet because new customers can get $100 free bet just by betting $100. And you could join the WynnBet's Biggest Winners Club. I seen some people throwing out parlays out there, and they were hitting these crazy parlays, but they didn't do it on WynnBet. You got to do it on WynnBet so you can get $1,000 free bet if you hit the biggest parlay. Truly for the DJs. They have the build your own bet feature. They have the Win Casino, all of that. So much to choose from. Just head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBet at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today. All subject change, terms, conditions at WynnBet.com. Must be 21 or older and present in the state where playthrough WynnBet is available. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. All right. Before we get into the slate, I mean, I feel like I have to, I don't know. It's a lot that happened. It's a lot that happened over the weekend.
Yeah.
The Jazz are good.
I was going to say, because I'm not sure how long you want to go into an actual weekend recap, but we got to talk about some of the stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the Jazz are good. So check. And I'm gonna just back the Jazz whenever they're big dogs. Like this is a complete 180 from what we were doing last year, fading them as big favorites. We're just going to back them as huge dogs because
it's not even just the fact they're winning. It's the fact that they're actually extremely entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're a fun team to watch.
And they're going to keep getting a low number. So back the Jazz as huge dogs. Cool. Check. What the fuck did Russ do? Don't know what he did.
I feel like that's where we should start because that game was yesterday.
I just I can't. I don't have any words. I don't have any words. I it's hilarious because it was like direct correlation to them losing the game. And if you didn't know, let me go ahead and explain it for you. If you haven't seen it and you're under a rock, just go on to Twitter, Instagram. I mean, anywhere. You could really just type it in Google and you'll
Well,
find it.
first of
TikTok.
all, he went 0 for 11 against the Clippers. Let's start there.
Yeah. 0 for 11 against the Clippers. So 0 for 11 against the Clippers, 2 points. It was really bad. But the crazy thing was what happened on Sunday when they played the Trailblazers and they were up one. Trailblazers just hit a shot and brought it down to one. 30 seconds left. He's bringing the ball up court, and instead of running clock, he said he was trying to get a 2 for run. So he did a quick shot, bricked the hell out the shot.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Trailblazers come back and hit the game winner. Bron misses the potential game winner on the other win. Lakers lose.
Yeah, there were a couple of baskets in between, but the point is they were up one. They could have killed another 15 seconds off the clock or so. And instead, Westbrook just sprinted down court and took a quick shot while his team was winning in the final 30 seconds. That's basically what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, a bunch of hijinks ensued. Lillard hit a big three. LeBron got a free dunk. Then Jeremy Grant had a game-winning layup, and LeBron missed the mid-range. But I believe the Lakers were up 7 with about a minute and a half to go and then blew the game. If I'm being honest, I had a personal play on a Lillard 25-plus points and Trailblazers money line at like plus 240, plus 250. So that ended up cashing for me. Probably shouldn't have.
Crazy way to cash that. No,
Yeah, it was a crazy way to cash that,
yeah.
but I'll take that. But either way,
as the gambling gods giveth, they also take it away.
Amen. But my question for you is, where exactly should the Lakers go from here? Because I said during the preseason, one of the podcasts we had, I think Westbrook's on the team for about 15 games, and then the Lakers tell him to take a hike. Are we approaching that territory? Because it feels that way.
I think if they make a move for somebody else, they probably get there. I think that they can't, like, out of necessity for just players, they really can't do anything about Russ right now. But
Just
it's
saying,
like,
just based on how this is going, is there a chance they just send him home?
yeah, no. I mean, it could be. It really
I said
could
15
be.
games. I'm just saying we're approaching that territory where
We're 3 games in, and he already looks like really, really bad. And he had a solid game the first game, and then it's just been downhill from there. I mean, I don't know, man. If you looked at LeBron and AD's face when he shot that, they were kind of confused. Like, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't have shot that.
They also benched him on the final possession.
Yeah, and it's like, and for a good reason, because what they thought was going to be one of the final possessions, he went and took a shot with 30 seconds left when he could have ran clock. They could have got a better shot. They could have ran a play. They could have did anything. Like, and I think that the ideal situation for us is for him to go to a team where he can be the guy and they can build around him and they could potentially be a playoff team if he's the guy. But the issue here with AD and LeBron is that Russ is not the alpha. He's not even the beta. So it's like, you, in that situation, you don't take that shot. And he doesn't realize that. Like, you don't take that shot anymore. That's reserved for Anthony Davis. And if it's not Anthony Davis, then it's Bron. You don't take that shot anymore. Like, you don't decide if we win or lose this game. And so it'll be interesting to see what they do. I really don't know what they do. I think the only way they could get a trade, only way they can get a trade is somebody says that, hey, we want to tank and we want to make sure we get Victor or Scoot. So we're going to trade for Westbrook.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's really bad. But
on a separate note in that game, by the way, Lillard's incredible. He's back.
Lillard's back. He's 100% back.
We also got to talk briefly about the other 0 for team right now, the more shocking 0 for team. You had a team that lost to the Spurs on a back-to-back.
That was disgusting.
The 76ers. We got to talk about it briefly. I know that they're playing against Indiana today, so we could have potentially broken it down. We'll
actually use that to transition into this game. And so Indiana Pacers going to play the Philadelphia 76ers, minus 12.5 for the 76ers. 230.5 is the total.
We got to break down how the season's going so far, though, before we actually get into the game.
Yeah, for sure. Well, go ahead and talk about it while I pull up an injury report.
So the Sixers had a couple of difficult opponents to start the year. They played at Boston during Bill Russell tribute night, so emotions were pretty high there. Game was competitive for about a half, maybe 2.5 quarters. and then the Celtics went on a run and they blew the game open. Then you had a very competitive game with the Sixers and the Bucks in the first home game for Philly of the season. Middleton didn't play, and it ended up not mattering as the Sixers blew a lead late and Milwaukee won. Then you figured, okay, you lost to probably the two best teams in the Eastern Conference. I know Milwaukee was a bit compromised, but still, you figured they're playing against the Spurs on a back-to-back for San Antonio. Philly had some days off to rest in Philly, and you lost outright to the Spurs. You didn't even lose. You were down a decent portion of that game. It was really embarrassing. Embiid went for 40, which he should do against the Spurs. But the Sixers just looked dead in the fourth quarter. Pirtle was out hustling Embiid, got a bunch of offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter. The Spurs shot the ball well. But anything else you want to add there? Because it just seems to me like Doc is not reaching these guys. And I thought that they should have gotten rid of him during the offseason. It seems like the players have kind of gotten tired of the stale message. Is that your takeaway too? Because it feels that way.
No, so it definitely does feel that way. And I think that one of the reasonings or, unfortunate thing about their success is how they play the ball. And you can't sit here and play ISO ball the whole game and think that you're going to beat a lot of teams. Honestly, like if you come up with a team that can defend one-on-one and they can eliminate one of your two ISO players and you're playing ISO ball the whole time with limited kickouts, then, I mean, you're not really going to be like, that's not a championship way to play the game. And that's not even a playoff way to play the game. We've seen teams that have tried to do that, but we haven't seen teams like this team where they're trying to run that through their best two players, which is Joel Embiid and James Harden. And so that's something that's a little bit confusing. I would have liked to see a more fluid, kind of at least spread the ball offense, something, even if it's just a pick and roll. Like, it just seems like it's so much isolation. Like, there was different points where I've been watching the 76ers through the 3 games where I'm like, is this even a basketball team or is this a 1-on-5? Like, I don't know. It just kind of seems weird, but I 100% was on them. I thought that they were going to smack the Spurs, especially in back-to-back, and the fact that they lost that game outright, it's making me nervous for this 76ers team for the rest of the season. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it depends on your expectations. I know initially I liked the under on the regular season win total. Then I thought about it and ended up pivoting. I feel like an idiot now. But still, the point is, I knew going into the season that Doc Rivers was definitely going to limit their upside at some point. I didn't think it'd be 3 games into the season. But I thought that Doc Rivers was just not the guy for this team, especially after how this team has crumbled in the playoffs the last couple of years. Do they fire him mid-season? Because it's starting to feel like they might. Because we know that at some point, you're going to have to start showing results, and this team hasn't. And I don't know how long the struggles have to last for them to potentially pull the trigger, because we know Morey's an aggressive GM. We know that he's willing to make moves if he needs to. I'm not sure Doc makes it for a couple months if they continue to play at 500 ball, let alone 0-3 ball. I think they need to be doing a lot better if Doc saves his job, because we know Morey's not afraid to rip the Band-Aid off if he needs to.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say that it's 100% going to happen because it's just so early. But if this is like, we're going deep into the season and this team is a 500 ball club,
I'm saying like 2 months in.
Yeah, then 100%. Especially if you feel like you got somebody on the bench that could potentially, get more out of the players than Doc is right now. So, all right, let's talk about this game and what we're doing. We're getting -12.5.
Oh boy. I mean, Indiana's so bad. Embiid should be able to go for like 35 again.
Give me the 12.5. I'll lay the 12.5. I know it's ugly.
But you're gonna lay it or you're gonna take it?
I'm gonna lay it.
Okay.
I'm gonna lay it. Yeah, I'm gonna lay it. It's tough. It's really hard. And I didn't even get to say the injury report, but Daniel Tice and Miles Turner are both out for this game. And that's why we're 100%. Like you said, Joel Embiid could go for another 35, 40 points. And this Pacers team is just really bad defensively on the defensive side of the ball. This Philadelphia team still, again, slowest in pace. Why? Because they play half-court offense. They set up their main guys for some isolations and let those guys just kind of go to work. And while that's a very what's the word to say, elementary way of coaching the offense or running the
They
offense,
got to play faster.
yeah,
I mean,
it can happen. Now, if they play faster, we've seen them do it. Like we've
mhm.
seen them in different stretches last year where they've been able to play fast and it worked for them. When they were playing in the Miami Heat series, when they slowed it down, that's when they were getting cooked. But when they were speeding it up, those were the games they won. So this team has the ability to speed it up. They just haven't done it this season. And I mean, you just lost to the Spurs at home. Like, this has to be the opportunity where you realize, all right, slowing this offense down isn't it. Let's get out. Let's run in transition. Let's do a lot of this other stuff. And so I'm just going to take a shot that they do it. This probably be the last time I bet on them if they don't do it. But this Pacers team allows everybody to pick up the pace. They're actually fifth in pace, so they like to run and they like to force other people to run. I think they're going to try to force this 76ers team to run, and it's not going to work for them.
Yeah, I think for me, my play might actually be on a team total. I'm actually looking at the Pacers team total over 108.5. I think the Sixers have to play faster. And I think that if you're going to even keep your identity of playing in the half court, but you
Mm,
want to have a one off where your team randomly just starts going up tempo, it would be against the Pacers because they don't guard anybody in transition. So I think that this game will actually turn into a bit of a track meet because Indiana wants it to. They could
mm,
get blown out, they might not. But I think the number of possessions are going to be so large for each side that I like an overall over in this game. But I do like Indiana team total over 108.5 because they want to play up tempo. Philly's defense has been a bit underwhelming so far this season, and I think Philly's going to play faster for at least
mm.
this game. Plus, shout out to Matherin. I loved him in college at Arizona.
Yeah, he's
Guy's a
great.
hooper,
He's great.
hell of a player. So they got him. Halliburton's been very good. They have some weapons there, but I'll go with Indiana team total over because I do think there's a couple ways to cash it. Either the pace is great and both teams go nuts, or Philly's up 30 and then Indiana can score a bunch of points in garbage time against the scrubs. So I'll go with the Indiana team total over.
All right. And to just kind of tack onto that pace, third in pace this far in the season, 106. And the 76ers are last in pace, 95. So they definitely have to pick up the pace. That's the best way they play ball. I don't know why they keep
Yeah.
going back to this half court. Like, they really, really are good when they're running. And I
And
get that
last year they
Joel
proved
Embiid.
that.
Yeah, and you don't have to run every time. Like, you can have those set up isolations with Harden, those isolations with Embiid, but like, Maxey is the fastest player in the league, and you're not letting him run the court. Literally the fastest player in the league, and you're not letting him run the court.
Mhm.
I don't know. All right. Total 230 and a half. I mean,
Once again, it really comes down to who dictates the pace.
yeah.
I don't see any reason why an 0-3 team should stick with the pace they're running when the other team's going to give them free layups every time they get a rebound.
Yeah.
I got to assume that they're going to push the pace in this game. And last year, these games flew over against Indiana in the second half of the year because they just would give up 120, 130 every meeting. I'm
Mm.
going with the over.
Yeah, I'm going with over two. I think the better way I like to play this is because I don't trust Philly and what they're doing right now.
Team total of
So,
121.5. I couldn't touch. That's why I went with Indiana
yeah.
instead of 108.5.
Yeah, no. I like the team total for sure, but I would also play this live and,
Yeah.
uh let the first half go and just watch, see how things are going, and probably take a second half over. I think that that's probably a good play, especially if it's a slower starting first half. Then the second half over feels like a really good bet. All right, let's move on to the next game of the slate. We have the Orlando Magic traveling to the city that never sleeps, New York, to play New York Knicks in Madison Square Garden. Knicks are laying 7.5, 222.5 on the total. For an injury report here for the New York Knicks, we have Quentin Grimes, who is day to day with the foot injury. He was limited to just free throws in practice on Sunday. He's more than likely not going to play in this game again. And the Orlando Magic have Mo Wagner, who is out. Markel Fultz, as you know, who is out. Jalen Suggs, who is out, had an MRI on Saturday to confirm his right ankle sprain. Jonathan Isaac hasn't played in forever, and Gary Harris is still out and will remain out until further notice. He's out indefinitely with that knee surgery.
Mhm.
So 7.5 with the Knicks. I'm not doing it. Are you doing it?
I'm actually going to do it. I'm going to take the Knicks.
Okay.
Orlando has been an entertaining team so far this season. The problem is they haven't gotten any wins. They've had
Yeah.
some close losses there. They lost to the Celtics by 6 at home, lost to
Hmm.
Atlanta by 10, and they were actually crushing Atlanta in the first half.
They
And then
were.
the wheels kind of fell off there after halftime. And they lost to Detroit in the first game of the season in a competitive road game. If you want to go with the same opponent theory, the Knicks played the Pistons as well, and they won by 24. I think I'm going to take the Knicks because I like what I've seen. They had 2 games. They beat the Pistons by 24, and they lost the heartbreaker to the Grizzlies on the road, which is really not a bad loss, losing to the Grizzlies on the road by 3. So I'm going to go with the Knicks. I think this Orlando team is fun. Boncaro is really, really good, but I do think the Knicks at home will be able to handle this Orlando just overall roster. Suggs was having a pretty good year. Now their point guard depth is a little bit in flux. There's a chance Cole Anthony has a great game. And if you think Orlando covers, you could probably take an Anthony player prop over because we know Anthony's definitely not shy about shooting the basketball. But I like what I've seen from the Knicks so far. I want to take the Knicks.
Yeah, no, I'm going with the Magic.
Yeah.
Even though the Magic are 0-3, I think that they're 0-3 and some of the other 0-3s in the league are a lot different. And
They've
they've
looked
been
good in some
competitive.
of their games.
Yeah, they've been competitive. They're coming here into Madison Square Garden where you can expect Paolo to try to have a good game. You have Terrence Ross still on this team who hates the Knicks. Like he hates the Knicks. Like they're back in.
He'll always go for like 5 threes every time he plays the Knicks. Like
Yes,
every time.
he really. So back during the pandemic, I was listening. I was kind of part of this little group on Clubhouse. You know the
Yeah,
Clubhouse
yeah.
app. I don't know. Is this free promo? Maybe this is
I
free.
have no idea.
Sorry, Sean and
I'm
Ryan.
not even sure if I ever used it, but I know what it is.
Yeah, sorry, Sean and Ryan, if this is free promo or not. Honestly, y'all probably not even listening to this right now. So what I'm saying is he came on there, like he came on as a guest into this group, and he was talking about how much he didn't like the Knicks, and he said, "Yeah, I'm about to give them 30." And then did it. And then he went and did it. He went and gave them 30. It was like 2021, man. I'm trying to remember what it was, but he really got on Clubhouse the night before and said, "I'm about to go in there and give them 30," and then went and did it. And so yeah, Terrence Ross doesn't like the Knicks. I expect him to have a really good game. I think that this Orlando Magic team has been fun. They've been able to score. I think that it's just closing, and it's because they're a young team.
It's
And
the
they haven't
second
been able to
half, which I
close.
think is the
Yeah.
problem. It's just that's so I'm going to lean to the Knicks because I just think that the game will be competitive, and I do think that late in games the Knicks actually have an idea of what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Orlando's still figuring it out, and I think eventually the Knicks will find a way to cover. Won't be
Yeah.
easy, but I think the Knicks find a way after 48.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to figure out if I want to play. Do I want to play a Orlando first half? What's first quarter? I mean, not first quarter, but first half.
Let me just pull that up. It should
I'm
be
trying
around
to.
4 if I had to guess because it's 7.5 for the full game. Let me just see here. Yeah, it's exactly 4. It's
Okay.
minus 105 for Orlando. If you want the money line, it's plus 180.
All right. Let me see here. First half spread. Just looking 2-1 for the Magic and 1-1 for the Knicks.
Yep.
Maybe let's keep an eye on that one. And if Orlando does it again in the first half, then I'm gonna be a believer and I'm gonna tell everybody just go ahead and back them until they prove us wrong. But I do not trust them to finish games, but I think that they could at least hold the lead long enough that they cover the 7.5. I'll take the Magic plus 7.5. All right. Total 222.5. Any thoughts there?
I have no thoughts on the total here. It's too early in the season for me to fully tell because the Knicks scored 130 against the Pistons, and I can't tell if they shot the lights out or they just played a bit faster.
Yeah.
Might be both.
And it's nothing really. Yeah, these two teams have been basically around this number the entire time.
I got no opinion on the total.
Because it's in Madison Square Garden, I think the Magic try to show out. I'll give out an over.
Okay.
All right. Next game on the slate, we have the Toronto Raptors traveling to Miami to play the Miami Heat. Heat are laying 3.5 at home. 215.5 is the total for the Miami Heat. You have Nikola Jokic is
He got suspended.
Yeah, he's suspended. Oh yeah, for leaving the game during that for that altercation. I mean, not
he left the bench.
Leaving the game, but left the bench. Yeah, he left the bench. And I debated adding one of those two to these dudes really don't be trying to fight for. I know some people have been asking about it. I debated adding one of them. I haven't made a final ruling. Maybe I'll come back next episode with a final ruling if they join it after I looked over the tape. League offices are evaluating the tape and trying to decide if either one of those dudes really didn't want to smoke with the other. But it seemed like
I'm giving Jovic a pass. He graduated from high school about a month ago. I'll give him
oh
a
yeah,
pass.
Jovic is good, but I'm talking about Caleb Martin.
That's
And
fair. I'm saying Jovic I'll give a pass to.
yeah, he's good.
But
He's good. All right, Caleb Martin suspended for the altercation. Victor Oladipo's not playing, and Omar Yurtseven is not playing as well. We also have for the Toronto Raptors, Scotty Barnes is a game time decisions. That's really big. Questionable with an ankle injury, and Otto Porter Jr. is still out with that hamstring. He has not made his season debut yet. 3.5 with the Heat, potentially. Could be no spot. Scotty Barnes, what are you doing here?
I really, really wanted to take Toronto going in because anytime you have an immediate rematch, I expect them to split. That's usually how it goes in the NBA. Having said that, if Barnes is not going to play or there's a chance he's not going to play, I can't take Toronto. No offense to Thaddeus Young. He's been pretty good as a Raptor, but the drop-off defensively when Barnes is not on the court compared to when, you're having Thaddeus Young as a replacement, it's a lot. Barnes is extremely valuable to this team. And I love Siakam as a player. I think Van Vliet's a very good veteran guard. I like Gary Trent too. I like Anunoby. I like their overall team. But I think Scotty Barnes is really such a key cog to that defense. And Miami's 1-2. They didn't have a great start to the year. And you're wondering the serious question for Toronto, who's going to guard Jimmy Butler?
Yeah.
And you're looking at Barnes, who gives you length. He's young. He's, mobile. He can really just be a defensive nightmare for a lot of teams. I don't think he's going to play. So I'm going to lean Miami. But I really wanted to take Toronto just based on the spot. I can't. I think Barnes is so valuable. I got to go with Miami.
Yeah. I'm not going to fade it. If Scotty Barnes was playing, it was easy.
I'm taking Toronto if he's playing, but
yeah, I'm gonna trust the trend with the immediate rematch.
How many points do you think he's worth? Like 2?
Yeah.
Give or
I
take.
think he is. He's really good. Like he's really good. But unfortunately, they covered the first one. Oh well, they did cover the first one, so it was a miraculous cover. They probably shouldn't have covered. Yeah, no, all right, I'll go with you. Miami minus 3.5. But
I mean, you're looking at the second half, by the way, of the first game. They outscored Miami by 18 in the second half because they were getting absolutely smacked. Yeah. So now you're looking at a spot where Miami really took its foot off the gas, but Barnes played at 11 points. He only played 13 minutes, so most of the comeback actually came when he got hurt. But once again, Miami was just straight up 20 and change at halftime.
Yeah,
and then
they called the dogs off. Yeah, they called.
That's what I'm saying. I think Miami uses what happened, especially Spoelstra is a great coach, uses how the fourth quarter ended or the second half went as motivation to play a full 48 at home here. I like Miami to cover.
All right, yeah, I'm with you. Let's do Miami minus 3.5. And I'm on the under here.
I agree.
Under 215. What was it? 215.5?
Yeah.
Yeah, under 215.5. Last one closed at 216.5. Came down a little bit. And I mean,
one outlier quarter. You had 71 points in the first quarter.
Yeah,
and the game
it just feels like that's
that.
not going to happen. I think that Toronto's going to lock in more defensively. They're not going to let this get out to a crazy lead that it did last time. And both of these teams are running, some of the slower paces in the league. And matter of fact, to go ahead and give you the number, Toronto is 28th in pace, and the Heat are 22nd in pace. So yeah, give me an under here. I think that this feels like a pretty good bet. So I like an underplay for the game. I like Fred VanVleet in this game. I think with Scotty Barnes, this is a Fred VanVleet game. Give me Fred VanVleet double-double. I don't know what that's priced at right now, but
let me pull that up.
Yeah, wow. But Scotty Barnes is transitioning more into a point forward. He can't fully make the transition because Fred VanVleet is there and Fred VanVleet's still good. However, he does take the ball out of his hands sometimes. And so if Scotty Barnes is not playing, Fred VanVleet is running the offense. He's going to have the opportunity to set everybody else up. I can see a bunch of assists coming for him. Give me Fred VanVleet double-double. It's probably a pretty decently priced.
I was not ready for this price. I'll tell you that much.
What?
It's plus 850.
Oh, hell yeah. Come on. I didn't know.
I thought it was going to be like
3
to 1,
2, 3.
1.
Yes. Yeah. No. Give me plus 850 on a Fred VanVleet double-double.
And for reference, by the way, Van Vliet had a double-double. Actually, no, he didn't. He only had 7 points. He had 10 assists in the last game. So,
Yeah, and so I think he's more of a scorer. And yeah, no, give me Furman Fleet double double.
okay.
All right, let's move on to our next game of the slate. Matter of fact, no, let's get us paid because we got to talk about No House Advantage. No House Advantage is a dynamic fantasy sports platform where you can play in pick'em contests, and a pick'em contest can get you $2,500,000. Like that's a lot. Cash money. So download the app, choose contest, select your player props. You can do all of that. You can bet up to 5 player prop over unders. You can play against the house and win up to 20 times the amount of money that you get. So they have NFL, NBA, MLB, PGA. MLB is almost over. MMA, NASCAR. Sign up now with promo code SGPN at No House Advantage or download the app and get $25 deposit match on your first deposit. NoHouseAdvantage.com. Promo code SGPN for a first deposit match up to $25. All right. Now let's get back into the slate because we have the Boston Celtics playing the Chicago Bulls in Chicago. Boston's laying 6. 225 is the total. Let's go ahead and drop the injury report here. Chicago Bulls, Lonzo. Yeah, y'all know this. Robert Williams. Yeah, you know this. Gallinari, yeah, you should know that. But if you don't, Gallinari, he's been out. So same thing for these two teams that's been since start of season. I'm already going to go ahead and tell you, and I'm pulling this up as I say it. I've had a play that I've scouted here for a while, and we're going to play both because this could be it right here. You all know how I love a good narrative, and you know what I love more than a good narrative is a good birthday. And not only do we have one birthday, we have two. Because guess what? Happy birthday, Jaylen Brown, and happy birthday, Vucevic. Happy birthday. Give us a game. So just go ahead and ladder both of their points props, especially Vucevic, because the Celtics have just always been bad against center position. I was going to do that anyway.
Yeah,
but
Vucevic double-double, by the way, is plus 110.
Oh, no. We get plus money on his double-double on his birthday? On his birthday? Like, come on, guys. We talked about the birthday narrative, and it's worked a lot. It works a lot more for those that are actually starting than the people coming off the bench for obvious reasons. One, they're starting. So we're just going to go all in on their birthday because there's a birthday matchup in the same game. So guess what? Jaylen Brown, first basket is plus 440. Did I see? Shop around. You probably find another line. Nikola Vucevic, 6-1. Okay. That's fun. Let's just go ahead, just tackle all the birthday props we can. 23.5 points prop for Jaylen Brown. 15.5 points prop for Vucevic. Take Vucevic up to 20. You're going to get him at plus 225. 25 points. You're going to get Jaylen Brown at plus 116 and Vucevic at plus 750. 30 points. Oh, my gosh. You're going to get Jaylen Brown at plus 320. And, I mean, he could just go all the way here. 920, 35. I mean, does he drop 40 on his birthday? Does he really do it? No, you can't get that high. But
I don't know if he's going to get enough shot attempts because we know Tatum's going to want to get his. But
yeah.
Still.
I mean, hey, everybody knows. Like, if he's hot, if they start the game hot, you got to sit here and say it's their birthday. You got to keep getting it to him. So, I mean, top point scorer, Jaylen Brown's plus 330. Vucevic, that's really good price for Jaylen Brown. Holy shit. Jaylen Brown's plus 330. Vucevic is 30-1. I mean, just have fun. Just have fun. It's their birthday. Have fun. I'm giving out the points props, and I'm just going to say over 15.5 and over 23.5 for Jaylen Brown. Ladder them. So points prop, 20, 25 for Vucevic. Points prop, 25, 30. Hell, yeah. Even 35 for Jaylen Brown. Just spread up a unit over across there, half unit, however you do it. Really, it's your money. I'm not going to tell you how to do it, but that's what I'm doing. Now we can talk about the actual game. Scott.
I mean, has anything changed from last year?
No.
I just assume Chicago's going to get killed in this game.
Do you think it's bad? Do you think it's bad luck do you think it's bad luck if I lock up the Celtics?
I don't know. We're gonna find out.
When's the last time that I can't even remember the last time that I locked up the Celtics. But this is like This is the perfect spot.
It really is. I mean, you let Orlando hang around. The Bulls, you could argue, have a good spot after getting blown out at home last game. They got murdered by the Cavaliers. Like,
Yeah,
I think we all know that even though they won the first game because DeRozan went nuts, when he
yeah.
doesn't go nuclear, the team really doesn't have a chance to beat great teams. I think
And it's just
Boston
so many
kills them.
people they can throw at
Yeah.
DeRozan. They have so many good defenders. They
hmm
play great on the defensive end. You know
I think this
what?
game gets ugly.
You know
But
what? Hello, NBA Gambling Podcast. Hello, listeners. Hello, all people. My name is Terrell Furman Jr., and I'm locking up the Celtics at -6. Wow. Clip that.
how'd
We
that
need to
feel?
get the social team. We got to get the social team to clip that and post that because, I mean, but we just got to fade this Bulls team when they play good people. Like they are
hmm
not, the Cavs are projected to be a top team in the East. And guess what? They got blew out. Like they suck. They suck when they play good teams. And so the Miami, win was probably a shocker, but it's all downhill from there. They should have lost that game. So that way they can gradually build expectations. But now the expectations are sky high and it drops because they suck when they play good teams. And if DeRozan doesn't go off, like you said, they're not in the game. Yes, if the Celtics let me down and this doesn't cash, I promise you I'm never doing it again. But I'm locking up the Celtics -6. This is the perfect spot.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. 225 is the total.
I think I'm going to have to go with the over just because Boston wants to play faster. They've proven it this season. Their game against Orlando landed 246.
Yeah.
I'm going with the over, probably Boston team total over. But I do think you're looking at what Boston can do offensively and really just the lack of counters that Chicago has defensively. I got to go with the over. I just think Boston's going to dictate the pace. You?
Man, I mean, shoot, they're still 25th in pace and the Bulls are 16. I think
They're also just shooting the lights out.
yeah, they are. They're scoring a lot. Maybe a Celtics team total over.
Yeah, that was the main total I was kind of looking at.
Yeah, maybe a Celtics team total over. If I had to pick, I would actually think I might go under. I
Okay.
mean, I see the money coming in on it, and it increased 2 points. It opened up at 223. So the money's coming in and it's pushing the line up. But I really think that this Celtics team is just going to lock in defensively and just make it a nightmare for the Bulls. And once DeRozan's not going, it's really going to be Vucevic. And that's why I think that Vucevic is such a fun play today because he can easily just go ahead and just be stronger and you know how much he loves the offensive side of the ball. He can do all of that against the Celtics team. And I feel like he has pretty solid games against the Celtics. I'm going to look it up right now before we finish this breakdown. But yeah, no, I'm going with the under. I just don't think it's enough scoring for Chicago this day. I think that they're going to find issues with a lot of people scoring the ball, and it's really going to be like Vucevic and maybe somebody else. Let me see. Vucevic game log versus Celtics. Really quick. Oh, shoot. I typed that in wrong. Why can't I type? Oh. All right, whatever. This isn't working.
Okay.
Oh, no. Yes, it is. Hot. There we go. Let's see. How are you doing against Celtics? 18, 18, 16, 18. So last four, he's covered this number. 14, 16. So what's that? 5 of the last 6, he's covered this number. And in the last 4, he also has a double-double. I mean, we're just throwing out props and stuff all day. So give me you said plus money still. It's not going to be plus money by the time they get to this. But if you're listening to this live, like you should be on YouTube right now, you can get the number. Plus money, Vucevic, double-double.
Okay.
And shout out to Dylan popping in the chat, throwing out a Nuggets first quarter bet. We'll get to that game in a little bit and talking about how about them Jets.
Feels good. I mean, for the NFL Gambling Podcast post, I had the Jets as my lock. So that got there. I had Seattle as my dog. That got there. Knock on wood, I got the Patriots -2 to wrap up the teaser. So if the Patriots cover that, then I sweep the entire board. So we'll see how that goes.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Next game on the slate, we have the Brooklyn Nets playing the Memphis Grizzlies in Memphis. Memphis is laying 1, opened up at 2.5 for Memphis. Now it's down to 1. Total opened up at 227.5. It is all the way up to 233 for excuse me, for an injury report we have for the Brooklyn Nets. Markieff Morris is not playing due to personal reasons. Seth Curry still not playing with the ankle injury. TJ Warren is still out. And for the Memphis Grizzlies, Dylan Brooks is questionable with the thigh injury. Zaire Williams is still ramping up his activity. He's going to be out. Jaren Jackson Jr. is progressing well. He's still out. And Danny Green is out as well. So, can Brooklyn get it done against Memphis? Memphis looking to bounce back after getting destroyed by the Dallas Mavericks.
I'm assuming the money on the over is solely based on the meetings last year and how you had a couple of track meets that broke out.
Yeah.
But for me, I know money's coming on Brooklyn. I watched a decent amount of that Brooklyn game against Toronto. It was really a game of runs, which I know is a cliche term for the NBA or for basketball in general, but it really was. Like Toronto had a 15-0 run. The Nets had Toronto had like a 22-0 run in the, I want to say second quarter, early third quarter. And the Nets went on a 15-0 run to close out the third and to start the fourth. It was just a bunch of runs back and forth, and the Nets ended up winning the game. But I'm going with Memphis solely because I don't think anyone can guard John Morant on this entire team.
Yeah.
I think Morant's going to go nuts tonight. And I'm not going to overreact to them getting killed by Dallas because that was a back-to-back. And I do think as a result, first back-to-back of the season, I am not surprised they got absolutely killed. Dallas had a painful loss there to Phoenix. They were motivated to get back on track. I'm not going to overreact to that one. I like Memphis here. I think Memphis at home. It's the Nets' first road game. I think they're going to struggle a bit, and I think Ja probably goes for 30+. Give me Ja pretty much carrying this team on his back. Puts the team on his back, though. I'm going to go with Memphis -1.
Yeah, and I like Memphis. I'll take Memphis in the first half. They were really, really good against the first half to the number last year. And, I mean, they're 1-2 this year, but the Nets are 0-2. And I could see them wanting to bounce back from that loss. Like, that was an ugly loss. They're back at home. Bringing in this Nets team is KD, Kyrie, Ben Simmons. Like, that's going to get everybody up for this game. Give me a Memphis first half. I like that play the most. And I've
seen the Nets try to guard Ja in the past. It doesn't go well. They can't guard him. They just can't guard him.
But now it's Ben. Ben is there now too. And so maybe Ben uses some size and length to his advantage.
I was going to say, though, I don't know how much that actually does anything in today's NBA when you're constantly switching every pick and roll.
Yeah.
You can just get whatever matchup you want. But even Simmons, I still think is a bit slower. I don't think he'll be able to keep up with the quickness.
No, he's definitely slower, but he's able.
Ja's been shooting the 3-ball well, which is a bit surprising. He's been really cooking.
He said he worked on it in offseason. Yeah. And so
I wanted to see it, but I mean, he's been shooting well. I know his player prop is like 29.5. You know, Ja's going to take a matchup against KD personally in terms of putting on a show, especially at home. Yeah. I think Ja might go for 35-40 tonight.
Yeah, I would ladder Ja's points because this is also that you're playing against a former MVP, and you said very well on record that you're going for an MVP this year.
Yeah.
And by what he's doing, he's well on his way. So yeah, I would take a ladder on Ja's points all the way up. And yeah, give me Memphis in this one. Give me Memphis in this one at home, getting this Nets team still kind of questioning and figuring out. And they also know they're not fully healthy as well. So
they got Joe Harris back, but I mean, anytime you get a guy back who hasn't played in over a year, you know he's going to be terrible for about the first 20 games.
Yeah.
And he did not look good against Toronto. Not surprised, but the point is they're going to give minutes to him, and I think he's just going to get cooked in this game.
Yeah.
So the Nets are still working on rotation stuff, and Kyrie took over the game against Toronto. I do think unless KD and Kyrie both go nuclear, I think they're going to have a hard time really stopping Memphis in this game. So I guess I understand the over, but I'll take Memphis at home.
Yeah. All right. Are we following the money with the? I don't know. That's a lot of. We missed the value.
I think we missed it personally. Maybe Memphis team total, but still, I don't have much of a thought here because the Nets. You think that they're going to play a lot faster, but I've watched them play this season. They really have not, and they played against the Pelicans. They gave up 130, so I guess you can argue that's fast. But at the end of the day, they couldn't stop anybody in the paint. The Grizzlies with Clark, with Tillman, with even Aldama's been good with Adams. The Nets really have one center. They have Claxton, and they have Sharp as a backup, who's a youngster, is not great. But I just think Memphis dominates on the glass. They have so many guys that can throw at you in the front court, and I think the Nets can't exactly match up with that.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. I mean, that's it for me. All right, let's move on to the next game of the slate. We have the Utah Jazz going to play the Houston Rockets in Houston, -2 for the Jazz. 233.5 is the total.
I gotta interrupt you for a second because you got to put some respect on their name. It's the undefeated Utah Jazz.
Yeah. You're right. The undefeated Utah Jazz going up against the unwon, un
They're going up against Munaf's other
the
team.
defeated. Yeah, the undefeated Utah Jazz are going up against the defeated Houston Rockets.
I just said the Munaf's other team, but that works too.
uh Azubuike for the Jazz is out, and for the Rockets, Alfred Sengun is questionable with an unspecified illness. Ty
If
Ty
he doesn't
Washington.
play, I like Fernando double. If he's not playing, because Fernando's
Well,
actually got a lot of minutes.
who do you like if Fernando's not playing? Because Fernando was out with the knee injury.
Oh, well, that's rough. Yeah. So they have the projected starter according to RotoWire,
Who?
Usman Garuba.
Okay.
That's one of those who we play for guys.
Yeah.
Because I don't know who that is, but yeah. So far this season, okay stat line. So we'll see, but
Ty Ty Washington and Jason Tate also out for this game.
a lot of money on the over because
Yep.
Houston wants to run, Utah wants to run, but
I actually see some money on the under. Like I see money on the under, which is confusing because
I was
one,
going
the
to say,
total
I
went up.
think that the money went up I think the total went up a couple of points, and now there might be some buyback because of some injury news.
Okay.
But this game's tricky because I know Utah's the better team, and it's not even close. Like, I know Utah's the much better overall basketball team. I've seen Houston play. They're not very good. However, Utah's had back-to-back overtime games, including an overtime game yesterday. So they're on a back-to-back with overtime and travel, which is really just the worst possible scheduling spot you can have. But
This is really easy for me.
But I really like this Utah team.
It's really easy for
I think
me.
I have to hold my nose and take Houston and maybe do a type of like a player performance double. Take a Jalen Green 25 plus points with Houston winning. I think I got to go Houston. I know Utah's a great team. They could win the game. But over the course of the entire season, both of us love a really good schedule spot. This is it. So I'm going to go with Houston. If they're going to win a game, it should be this one.
You see my hands up?
Yeah.
Because I'm not holding my nose. Give me the Houston Rockets money line in this game. This is the perfect spot. Like I said, we like this Jazz team. We're not going to back them as favorites. We're only going to back them as dogs. We're not going to back them as a favorite. No way. Yeah, give me this Houston Rockets team to get it done. Jalen Green's been playing amazing. Yes, they have some players out, but I think this is the Jalen Green game. Maybe Jabari Smith decides to show people that, hey, I was the number 3 overall pick for a reason, and he shows up for this game. Kevin Porter Jr. has still been playing pretty good. I like this team. They have some injuries, but I think that they are better than how they're playing right now. And I think that this is the perfect spot where they can get up and go beat this Jazz team that's really feeling themselves 3-0, and everybody thought that they were going to be playing for the lottery. So, yeah, give me the Houston to get their first win against the Utah Jazz. +2 money line. 223.5. Yeah, I'll take over.
233, man.
Yeah. Oh, 233.
Yeah.
I got it. Okay. Yeah, give me the over.
I think I'm going to lean to the over too because Houston's had a couple track meets. But yeah, at the end of the day, you're looking at a 3-0 team only favored by 2 against an 0-3 team. There's a reason for it. I think they're just daring you to
100%.
take Utah. I'm going with Houston.
100%. And what have they done over the course of the season? Is there anything else I want? Yeah, 2-1 to the. Yeah, both of these teams are 2-1 to the over. Yeah, give me an over. They both moved 3-1. All right. Next game on the slate, we have the San Antonio Spurs going to play the Minnesota Timberwolves. -8.5 for the Timberwolves. 234.5 is the total. Wow, that's jumped up. Opened up at 231. Side opened up at -9.5. Now it's down to -8.5. Bunch of money on the San Antonio Spurs here. We also have for an injury report, Kyle Anderson is day-to-day for the Timberwolves. And for the Spurs, we have Dominic Barlow not playing in this game as he's in the in San Antonio for the start of the G League training camp, and we have Jordan Hall, who is with the G League team as well. So, yeah, very easy. I'm taking Minnesota. I'm not backing
Really?
this.
Even on a back-to-back? Is it a back-to-back? I thought they played yesterday.
Did Minnesota play yesterday? Or
They
was
played
that the day
yesterday. They
before?
beat Oklahoma City, which is a separate anecdote. I know we're already at the 50-minute mark, but I love how Adam Silver talked about cracking down on tanking, and the next day, Oklahoma City benched Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That made me laugh. I thought that was very funny. But
yeah, it was like they said that it was some crazy report that they said that the last place team or the
they
last two
wanted some
place teams,
relegation system, but it's not
they
going to
said that
happen.
they were gonna push the last two place
Yeah.
teams to the G League and
It's
then bring
European,
two
it's
G
European
League teams
soccer
up.
move. They said it wasn't realistic, though. It's not going to happen.
No, it's not realistic at all. It's clearly not realistic. There's no way they do that.
But I don't think Minnesota's look good. And I know they're 2-1, both wins against OKC. One game was with Shea, one game was without, and both games were somewhat competitive there. And
I don't know. They was killing OKC for a bit.
They were killing them in both games, but I kind of discovered something about Minnesota, which is kind of a trend early on. They're really an awful third quarter team. Right. They are really bad in the third quarter, and they even lost the third quarter with no Shea yesterday, 30-29. If you look at their numbers, they're getting killed in the third quarter. So just keep that in mind moving forward. I'm not sure if that's a fluke or if that's something to keep in mind for the rest of the season. But as of right now, Minnesota is one of the worst third quarter teams in the league. The point is they ended up only winning by 10 against Oklahoma City, and Shea didn't play. Now you face the Spurs, who are not a talented team, but they did enough against Philly to win. I'm actually leaning to San Antonio. I think they can hang around. But it's mostly because I don't want to back up a team on a back-to-back a week into the season. So I'm going to take the Spurs.
The back-to-back thing makes me nervous, but we just seen this Spurs team do it. I think that there's a clear. I mean, we know that there's a clear talent disparity.
Oh,
and
Minnesota
it's really going to come down
win the rebounding battle by like 20. Like they should kill them on the glass. But somehow the Spurs actually won the rebounding battle against Philly. So I don't really know what the hell's happening with Philly. But
I think this back-to-back comes from Minnesota, like comes back to bite Minnesota. I don't think it's they got a little bit of a break after this one. Oh, it's only a 1-day break. These two teams are playing a back-to-back. This is the first game of a back-to-back stretch. Both games at Minnesota. Well, really, they're playing three in the next week. Holy crap! Who scheduled this? These two teams are about to play 3 times in the next week. This might as well be a series. Yeah. No, I'm not backing the Spurs. As a public dog, I'm not doing it. Give me Minnesota. It feels very unvillain like. Give me Minnesota, but I do like that third quarter angle. I'm trying to find a number on that. I know some books have a third quarter.
And there is a chance Minnesota smacks them in the first half and then just gets disinterested. So there's a couple ways to potentially get out of the game.
Definitely if they get out early and start trying to rest their players because they're on a back-to-back. Let's see here. All right. Minnesota, can I get a third quarter line? First quarter, second quarter, third quarter. There we go. Plus 144 for the third quarter winner. Currently a spread of plus 2.5. Let's take both. Spurs plus 2.5. Spurs win third quarter. Plus 144.
And for this game, I'm also contemplating Pirtle double-double. It's plus 125. The problem is Gobert's still a very good defensive player, so I'm not sure if Pirtle will actually get a lot of shot attempts off. But you're looking at his numbers this season. He's been really good. He's averaging 16 points per game and 9.7 rebounds. Had 13 and 12 against Embiid, 21 and 8 against Indiana, 14 and 9 against Charlotte. And we know that Gobert is going to be standing in the paint a decent amount of the time, so he should get a lot of rebounding opportunities. You have any thoughts on that Pirtle move? Because he's kind of the only real center they have.
No. No. Okay. Not getting any push from me, especially if he stays on the floor when they start doing he's going to need to. I mean, like if they're blowing him out and they sit the starters and he's out there, he's got a pretty good size advantage over anybody on that bench. So yeah. All right. Last game of the slate, we have the Denver Nuggets traveling to Portland to play the Portland Trail Blazers. 3-0 Portland Trail Blazers. Minus 4.5 for the Denver Nuggets. 227 is the total. Injury report for these two squads for Portland. Trendon Watford is out with is out with the hip injury, and Gary Payton II is still out with that abdomen injury. He has not started the season yet for the Denver Nuggets. We have Colin Gillespie is out. I don't even think he's played this season yet.
No.
All right. I mean, why are we getting Portland as a dog here?
It's because of scheduling spot. It's because, once again, Portland's playing a back-to-back. They had the very competitive game against the Lakers yesterday, and they won, but now they have to travel. Not that long of a travel, though, from LA to Portland, but still, you have to take a flight. There's money coming in on Denver for a couple reasons, mainly scheduling spot. Also, Denver smacked the crap out of Golden State, and you're kind of just assuming that Denver has the certain level to them that Portland doesn't have. I'm actually leaning Denver. The problem is Lillard always torches this team.
Yeah.
So I feel like Lillard could go for 35 again, but he played a bunch of minutes against the Lakers last night.
Mm.
I think I'm going to lean Denver because of scheduling spot, but you can make your case for Portland. I just, it's a bad scheduling spot in my eyes for Portland.
I don't think this Denver team is played to. They're doing what they always do, and just a lack of defense. Like, it's a lack of defense. In the 3 games they played already, 123 points to Utah, 123 points to Golden State.
Oh, it's rough, but I lost my lock with Golden State. Their defense was not good. Their offense was incredible. And Jokic has lost his damn mind again. He's at back-to-back triple-doubles.
And the 117 OKC?
Mm-hmm. It's not good. That was also a back-to-back, too. They overcame that.
Okay. Yeah, and they won the back-to-back. This is 3 and 4 for them. So, I mean, if we talk about a scheduling spot, how the scheduling spot is bad for Portland, it's also bad playing 3 and 4. Like,
yeah.
No, I can't do it. I can't lay points with Denver on the road after seeing how poorly they are on the defensive side of the ball. If there's any hiccup on them offensively, they're going to lose this game. And not even lose, but they're just going to call the dogs off. I mean, they called the dogs off against Golden State and let Golden State back into that game. They let OKC into the game, and they just completely didn't even show up for Utah. And like I said, that was a road game there. They came back on the road, did really good against Golden State, got a home win against OKC. No, this Portland team has been playing really good. Dame's out of his mind right now. Yeah. I'm just gonna. You giving me Dame, who's hot on a back-to-back. I know that you're sitting there talking about, could be tired, all that, but he's hot. That could actually be good for them because he's still cooking from what he was doing to the Lakers, and now he's about to transfer that to Denver. And Denver's knocked Portland out the playoffs a couple times. I think Dame remembers all of that. They get some payback here. Give me the Portland Trailblazers plus the 4.5. Sprinkle on that money line at plus 160. Definitely. I like the Portland Trailblazers here to go out and get a win.
It's also a home dog. So that's kind of tempting.
Yeah. Plus 4.5 home dog. Yeah, I love it. Love it. All right. That's the slate. Let's go ahead and get out, lock a dog, and go ahead and wrap this thing up. For my lock.
I wasn't sure. Did you have to do another read, or we're clear on
No,
that?
no, we're good. We're good.
Okay, cool.
For my lock. Yeah, I said it. We're going to go ahead and do it. We're going to put it on the graphic, and I'm probably going to break Twitter when it happens. Give me the Boston Celtics, -6. That's my lock. This is either going to be really good or really bad. I'm either going to have trolls in my mentions, or I'm going to have the opportunity to shit on everybody and say that this was a really good spot for the Celtics and they blew it. The worst thing the Celtics could do is win this game and not cover, by the way. Like, that is the worst thing that they could do, win this game and not cover. All right. For my dog, I like a few dogs. Which one do I want to give out? Let's give out the juiciest one on the board because Orlando's had the Knicks. Well, not the juiciest one on the board, but the juiciest one I like. Then Orlando's had the Knicks number. I feel like they've had the Knicks. Let me go look at the head-to-head, make sure I'm not lying. But they haven't had their number, but they've won some games now. You'd think they've won in Madison Square Garden the last 2 times they played there as a +12 dog and a +11.5 dog. So they've won 2 of the last 3 and the last 2 in New York. Yep. Give me the Orlando Magic money line plus, what am I getting at that? Plus 230. I'll take it.
Is that a happiness hedge? Maybe a little. Maybe
a little. Maybe it's like subconsciously it's there. But I really feel like Orlando just they show up when they play the Knicks. I think even the games that the Knicks have beat them, they've been rather close games. So let me see. Let me just make sure I'm not putting my foot in my mouth. Oh well, no, that last time they played last year, they got blew out, but that was towards the end of the season. Yep, they've covered three. Yeah, they've covered 3 of the last 5 against them. Am I reading this right? Yeah, covered 3 of the last 5. All right, let's do it. What are you doing?
All right. So for my lock, I am actually going to go to a player prop. I'm going to go back to that Pacers and 76ers game. I'm going to take James Harden over 9.5 assists at -130. I understand that Sixers have been playing some underwhelming basketball because they're 0-3. However, Harden has been pretty good when it comes to actually facilitating, and I do think the pace alone is going to drastically help the number of possessions. I think Philly should play faster. They have a team total of 121.5. Harden better get 10 assists in this game. I'll just say that much. But you're looking at the numbers this season. He had 7 assists against Boston. Decent amount of those were in the first half. Had 9 assists against Milwaukee. Had 12 assists against the Spurs. And you look at his last couple of games against the Pacers. He played against them twice last year while they were actively punting. Well, technically 3 times. 1 with Brooklyn, 2 with Philly. The 2 times with Philly, he recorded 14 assists in each of those games. 9.5 is -130. I'm going to take it. He's going to be matched up on who? Like McConnell? They don't have many guards that you can actually throw on them. Maybe Halliburton, a little bit of Mathurin in there. They're a terrible defensive team. Give me Harden, who has the ball in his hands all the damn time, probably more than he should, to go over 9.5 assists at -130.
All right.
And for my dog, this is where it gets a little bit tricky because I'm not exactly sure where I want to go with this one. But I kind of want to stick with the player prop angle here. And for this one, you know what? I am actually going to do it. I'm going to go with the player who has a fun game named after him. I'm going to go with Jakob Poeltl. I'm going to take him double-double. And I think that he's in a pretty good spot here to really just sit in the paint and collect a bunch of rebounds. And the Spurs still have great ball movement under Popovich. I think he could end up having a decent showing offensively. They might try to drag Gobert away from the basket. You might see a lot of mismatches in the paint. But Gobert getting switched out. It's also a back-to-back, so I wonder if they'll be limiting minutes in this game, which could be a concern for Minnesota. But you're looking at Poeltl double-double, and that's currently at +125. He's averaging roughly 16 and 10. He had a double-double last game against Embiid. I like him double-double here. I just think he's going to play enough minutes and get enough actual workload to go over. So give me Jakob Poeltl double-double.
All right. Love it. Also
honorable mention, though, for Van Vliet +850 for the double-double.
Oh, that's not an honorable mention. That is 100% going on the slip today. 100%. We also throwing out Denver Nuggets first quarter. Dylan talked about it earlier, -1.5. They've been really good to the first quarter this year in the early part of the season. Just trying to get and they've normally been a really good first quarter team just overall. So, yeah, I like that play, especially with Portland on a back-to-back. But I still like Portland for the game. So give me a Nuggets first quarter, win the first quarter, but Portland to win the game. What do you think that's priced at?
If I had to guess, 10-1.
5-1.
Okay, I went a little bit crazy.
Yeah, you did. I wasn't expecting.
I thought you were only asking. I thought you were only asking me because the line was absurd. That's why.
No, I don't know why I asked, but I didn't think you were going to throw out 10-1. No,
I mean, you just said like, can you imagine? I'm like, what is this? Some type of crazy 10-1 deal? What's going on here? But
no. All right, yeah, 5-1. I like that. Giving that play out. All right. Other than that, that's it for the NBA Gambling Podcast. Scott, you have anything before we get up out of here?
Not really. I was potentially looking at some other player props involving rebounds for the Grizzlies game. I really wanted Brandon Clark double-double, but he doesn't start, so you're not going to find a line on that. The Nets, though, the worst rebounding rate in the entire league. They really cannot rebound the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Clark, if you can find a line there, I think he's got a very nice shot of having a bench player double-double in this game.
Let's do it. Let's find it. I'm sure somebody. I'll give a call over to win.
Just saying. If you can find it,
I'll give a call over to win right now as soon as we get off the air. All right. He's at Reichel Radio. I'm at reallyreal__. I mean, What else is there to say, people? Let's go out here. Let's get cash. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you leave a review. Shout out to the person that let the review said the villain's going crazy. Appreciate the love. Please send your reviews in. Get those done. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. All of you all check out NBA Gambling Podcast. Other than that, I have nothing else to say, nothing else to do, nowhere else to be. But we got to get up out of here. So we are out.